Morning from
Morning.
Jogja.
How was Gumuk Pasir?
Wah, sangat berangin Mas Bayu.
Wah. Pada main sandboarding ya?
Ya, begitulah.
Tanning.
Iya,
Nice.
Okay, then, Sabayu, maybe we can start right now.
Okay.
Ya, aku record.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good morning everyone and happy Chinese New Year for you that celebrates Chinese New Year. And today I will be your host actually, and I will be helped by Irfan, I believe, and also Rea, who will help me to share the screen today. So let's see what we can get some inspiration in this New Year. Usually during Chinese New Year here, what's expected is rain. Probably that's the just a culture. People say that if it's raining during Chinese New Year, there will be more prosperity. But I think today, no, there's no rain. Okay, while waiting for the screen, Irfan, are you ready?
Pasti bakal.
Okay, wait, Damas will share the screen, right?
Okay. You want me to share the screen? Okay. I will do that then. Okay. It's called all hands. Okay. So here it is. Let me zoom in a little bit
Kenapa emang ya?
so that you can see the text as well.
Oh.
Okay. So this morning I'd like to think about what we can get, what we can learn from this famous guy, Elon Musk, which is seemingly very successful in almost every field. But what we want to learn today is fairly simple. Actually, it's pretty simple.
Tadi aku juga disambut
Thing
ojek.
that we usually know already about this, but somehow we don't know about this. Basically, the thing is that no rules for success. That's what I think. By looking at
Taruh di
Elon Musk.
plastik.
So let's have a look. Let's have a look at
Pengalaman ya.
what we usually know about being a successful person. We all have all that education. We told to be successful, we need to be this. And the first one is that something to do with time, right? Every time we want to be success, the first thing that we need to learn about is time. How you manage time, how you use your time. So let's have a look at some of the advice that people give us about time. So time, productivity. Productivity is less about what you do with your time and more about how you run your mind. This is says Robin Ash Sharma, is some famous guy that talk about productivity and work ethic. Then also some other thing. Okay, this is basically said by everyone: work smart, not hard, right? So that is the message that we always being told every day. To be successful, we need to work smart, not hard. Let's learn something. Let's have a look at what Elon Musk had said.
Somebody else is working 50 hours, we work 100. You'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other.
Okay.
Tiba-tiba kosong.
So basically, it's not about saving time actually. Apparently, for Elon Musk, and yet he's still being successful. So basically, if you can be, if you can spend more time,
Soalnya kan
basically you will still get more anyway, regardless of if you're comparing to the someone else that doing the same thing with you. Let's have a look at the another thing like the focus, right? So we have also these quotes about focus. To do things at once is to do neither. This is about multitasking, right? About doing things, the focus of your work. Should you work on multiple things or not? Say basically, another person also said, multitasking is the ability to screw everything up simultaneously. So that's that is correct, right? Like, okay, yeah, we should focus on something. We should not work on multiple things to be successful. And then let's learn from the successful person, Elon Musk. He's building like 20 companies at the same time, and they are almost most of all this company are successful actually. So uh, probably that quote that we read before is not right, or I don't know what's happening here, because we always say that we need to
Soalnya
focus,
Elon
but
Musk udah kaya dari
apparently also we can
Iya,
do
makanya jadi
something
tinggal ngasih duit aja.
and, multiple things at once as well and still be successful. The next one is about wellness. Right? This is a very trending these days. Basically, everyone will say this: eat well, sleep well, exercise. You want to be success like this. Bill Gates do this. Mark Zuckerberg does this. Things like that, and that makes sense as well. If we eat well, we'll be healthy. Sleep well, we will have more focus, more health, basically, right? And exercise. So let's have a look at what Elon Musk does.
This is a conference room in the unfinished factory. I think I feel what's going on.
Right. For anyone didn't catch that, let me repeat that.
This is a conference room. Where do you sit tonight? This is a conference room in the unfinished factory. I think I feel what's going on.
Okay, so apparently Elon Musk also not sleep well. He sleep in the factory and not at home, and probably work overnight as well. Right. So from this simple three thing, I'm actually kind of think about this, that there's no rule for success. If you're going to be success, then you will be success, whatever you do, right? There's a nice quote. This is like ancient Greek or something like that. You are uniquely. Oh no, this is someone that doing a productivity and wellness for a big company. Forget to attach his name. So it's basically saying that you are uniquely unique. Don't settle for less and never try to fit in. That there's no rule for success. Basically, there's no set of things that you have to follow specifically in order to success. So I hope that gives us some inspiration and give us some motivation to be success. And I guess that's it. That's the first few minutes for me. Let me continue to Irfan then.
Okay, I guess it's my turn.
Oh, that's
So-
Rhea. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bayu, for that inspirational advices that you shared. And now let's go to our vision and mission statement. May we welcome Mr. Jing for this.
All right, Rhea, thank you very much. For this moment, what I'd like to do is I'd like to share my screen and continue our discussion from last week about the vision and mission. So if you will, we'll go ahead and activate my screen, and please follow along as I continue. By the way, thank you, buddy, for that share. That is that's very new, actually. That's something I haven't heard before, and I think that many times when we think about how to be a leader and how to take that plunge and approach life with no fear, that's actually gives us energy to do that and really believe in what we have internally. Okay, all right, let's go and continue this discussion about frameworks, about transformation frameworks. So last week, we left off at this point, which is how do we attract and develop our employees at each stage of the transformation process? So just to quickly review, this is essentially what the employee Maslow pyramid looks like. We have covered essentially all the different layers and the groundwork for how to establish a strong framework for understanding our services, how to innovate those services to produce the results. But instead of actually telling any more about this, let me do a quick demo and construct the Maslow pyramid, construct the incoming and outbound services, and also correlate that to what the employee experience actually looks like. So if you'll follow me for a moment, let's go ahead and take a look at this transformation framework model. Okay, so once again, we're just taking a look at the pyramid, and the very first thing I'll do is, of course, label the 3 levels. The bottom is job, the center is career, and at the very top, you have calling. So those are 3 levels and stages of an employee experience. Now, how do we get people in to each particular stage? Well, let's say at some point we should be attracting people who are interested in developing a career. So that would go over here. At some point, we should be interested in attracting people who will have a calling. That goes there. And at some point, we would attract people who are interested in a job, and that would go there. And then I'll essentially put in the input arrows to represent the inputs into each stage here. All right, so behind these objectives, behind these initiatives, there has to be functioning services that actually deliver this process. So we can start giving these services label. We'll call the service of creating calling awareness, we'll call that service 1. We'll call the service of creating career awareness, service 2. We'll call the service of job awareness, service 3. So this is how we start placing people into our organization who have these particular objectives by creating the right awareness to target the right mindset of employees that we want to bring in. But what about once somebody is here? What do we want to do? Well, of course, we want to transform them. So what would that look like? Is it possible then to transform people who are, let's say, from a career standpoint to a, oops, sorry, excuse me a second. I seem to have lost control of this arrow. Is it possible to upgrade people from a career to a calling? And it certainly is. And is it possible to upgrade people from a job to a career? And that certainly is possible too as well. Give me a second here. I'd like to move this arrow over here. Okay, let me bring that up to the front. A little bit of a, okay, all right. So, okay. All right, and then we'll quickly call these and give these labels too. This will be considered service 4. This will be considered service 5. All right, once we have these particular outcomes, what about maintaining? Once somebody is in a particular level, do we want to maintain them in that level? And that certainly makes sense as well. For people who are at a job level, we want to maintain them in a job function. For people in a career level, we want to maintain them in a career function. And for people in a calling level, we want to maintain them too as well. We'll represent these particular services with these icons here. Sorry about this. Let me live demo. Has live demo issues. Okay, we'll represent those as these inward circles here. Okay. All right. So we'll then assign labels to each particular service there. Calling, maintaining, employee calling, a service 6, maintaining career, a service 7, and maintaining job as a service 8. So now we have a complete transformation pyramid for the employee experience. Now, okay, this is all very abstract, but what does this actually mean? Where does things actually go? Well, let's go into a framework, a flowchart that we took a look at for a number of times. What actually does the employee transformation look like? Well, employee transformation services go to build our culture, and our cultural engine is what actually activates transformation for all the people who are working here in Bukit Vista. So through that, we need to take a look at, okay, what are these actual employee transformation services? So the good people in the employee squad have documented and created an index of these services. So these are very familiar, I'm sure, to everybody who works at Bukit Vista. Things like having a BVE talk or having the vision and core values of the company be repeatedly recognized. Things like a campaign structure for a scrum. All these different services create the culture that we experience as employees here in the company. So I've done a quick cutout of some of these, and then we can start putting them into the right places to understand where they go. Okay, so at all hands we do core value recognitions, so we can place that properly in, well, let's see, why do we do core value recognitions? Core value recognitions are a way of maintaining employees in a calling state of mind. So we can classify it here. So that belongs into service 6 over here as a way of maintaining employee calling. What about the BVE talk, the webinar that we present where we call upon university students, prospective employees to actually join Bukit Vista based on our amazing projects and really interesting knowledge leadership. So where does that go? Well, that generally goes over here to service 1. That is a way of creating awareness for calling. So that attracts people who are interested in calling to our organization. What about rotational Scrum leadership? Why do we give everybody an opportunity to lead? Well, that impacts people's careers. So it's a way to bring, let's say, somebody who is working at a job level to now have a function in a career, get leadership experience. What about, let's say, the all-hand personal updates? Well, each of these following services have their own place within this structure. And essentially, by using this framework, we start understanding how everything all fits together and taking the services and applying it to design and employee experience. Okay, hopefully this demo starts making a bit more sense from all the experiences that you've been having and where exactly each experience gets plotted using the current framework. So to conclude, that is essentially the inspiration for how we can use this framework to track our different services, and it gives us a focus to our innovation as well. Okay, next, okay, that's told twice. So I talked about we're going to have 3 transformation stories, and the time to talk about the employee story is over today. But next week, we will go on and talk about what does the partner transformation framework look like, and what are the partner transformation services that we have available, and how to understand that. Okay, I yield my time back to the chair, and we'll continue with, I guess, the host and the moderator now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dean, for that demo that inspired us to start our first day of the man beautifully. So yeah, let's go to the next part. Mr. Bayu, can you help me share the screen? Okay, let's now go with the weekly vision inspiration. So yeah, for the first is let's welcome.
Yeah, there's
Patent.
another one for mission statement, I think.
Oh, I think there is. I think that would be Mr. Dean as well.
Yes, actually, I have a thank you very much, Bai, for details matter there. So I have a recognition here on Bella's part. So I think Bella and her team have developed some really interesting ways of approaching social media. So let's bring Bella forward to discuss and to share more about this new mission-aligned innovation.
Yeah, okay, thank you, sir. So, yeah, basically, during our MBKM Awareness Week, we got a lot of attention, a lot of followers in our Instagram, and then we were thinking, the PR team thinking, and on how to actually make people stay engaged in our social media platform, but as well as we can still give them information that they needed. So we are thinking of creating content which can be both engaging as well as showing the information itself. Which shows in the, as you can see here, there is a quiz or pop quiz around our core value, so that it allows people to actually interact with it. They can choose an answer and know what does it mean. What does this core value mean? And then we have also Q&A session where they can ask us personally, and then we can answer all the questions that they have for us. And then so yeah, that's basically the interaction between us and the audience, and that's and it has been performing very well back in the MBKM days, because like we got a lot of impression and then engagement rate coming from this content. And so yeah, this is something that we keep on doing on our social media as our social media strategy for content and engagement. Yeah, and I would like to thanks the PR team here, especially Cindy, because she also helped me making this content and actually implement this quiz into our story. So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, Bila. And to also lend a strategic perspective to the importance or the impact of this particular innovation, oftentimes in communication, there's a lot of variables that are difficult to control. We need to control 4 specific we have 4 specific aspects that we need to control. We need to control the communication timing, messaging, we need to control the audience and the channel. By really creating these strong frameworks, it reduces the amount of uncertainty and improves the function as a tool so that more people can create successful content. Paired with a good PR calendar, that then reduces the likelihood of, improves the chances of our content actually making impact and activating the correct response. So thank you, Bila, for building that tool, and thank you to the rest of the PR team with Cindy, and I think Wei has also been participating in some of this as well for advancing the way that we do awareness. Okay, let's continue back to Rhea.
Okay, thank you, Miss Bila and Mr. King. Now, let's really move to the weekly mission inspiration. Let's now call on Mr. Tandy.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. So yeah, the first is hosting team coordinate with the partner for give the experience for
Sekarang
our
berempat.
guests, the unrecognized
Allah
needs. This is actually a
Udah
new
kayak Power
innovation,
Rangers.
and then
Ambil
we create
persir,
the
Bang.
guideline for this. Yeah, one of our guests that stay long term in Kancana Cottage
Dari zaman
invited by
Gani
the
cerita
partner
tentang gunung
to
pasir.
join the cremation event, and then also the partner is borrowing the Balinese clothes with the guest, and then yeah, the guest is looks happy, and then also that's kind of like a new experience, and then the guest also love the gamelan music when join the event. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Aku
thank
nggak
you.
mau
That was
lalu di depan
beautiful clothes.
kepala
Now
siapa
let's
yang
go
gede siapa yang mau
on
gini
Kak Mutia. Okay, thank you, Rhea. Hosting
sama
team has
ini
been
kepala aku nggak
consistent
kanan
asking
juga.
the guests to extend which activity guideline already a feature. The story is Desi is our long stay guest in the Tegal. She always communicate everything with hosting team. Day one before her checkout time, hosting team make sure and tell her the room is ready if Desi won't extend. Unfortunately, she already booked in another property. 2 days after Desi checked out, she said she want to stay with us again. So yeah, she want to come back with us again. And for the second story, hosting team has been consistent implementing morning message. Eric is our long stay guest in Double D. He's satisfied with our services because we do a little thing such as a morning message. He really
Wow,
appreciate
banyak heart emoji.
we always
That's so
communicate
Mutia
with
banget.
him
Iya.
everything. Thank you. Back to you, Raya. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kandi and Kak Mutia for that impressive story. And now let's move on to the partners. Let's welcome Kak Asa.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. Good morning, everyone. So, from partners, we are finally fully adopting group split between operational WhatsApp group and also strategical WhatsApp group in Jogol Kawung, and that's a guideline that will be updated immediately. So, after we have fully adopting the system, we've got better coordination within the staffs and also operational team. And once the operational group is out and being fully adopted, then we can see that the coordination there are being done smoothly, and also the staff can also have full visibility and have more freedom to ask and or to suggestions for each other, as you can see in the screenshot chat. That's from me to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's go to Kak Kandi.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is from the owner side as well about that guest. So yeah, the owner is transformed to invite the guest for join the cremation. I got the message from the partner side. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now let's go now with the technical innovation inspiration for Mr. Bayu.
Okay, so this one is a new innovation. So basically, we created a user experience design framework for anyone to create their own experience design for their users. So we are currently refining this. So basically, there's 4 things, 4 major components to build the user experience. So the first one is the service, and then there's a moment, which I will explain later, and then there's an experience, the experience itself, and then also there's an experience level. I put the link there if you want to read more. So basically, the story is this. Currently, when we are creating workflow or the way we work, creating tool or guidelines, our way of thinking is what are new things that we can create or what can we do? This resulted in activities and experiments that based on our own benefit, not the user benefit. So what's new with this is that we will think about how our user will feel on each moment. A user experience can be described simply like this. There's a user, there's a verb, there's the experience. For example, guests will receive a warm welcome from the on-site staff. It's very simple. So to check whether our service is good or not, we simply ask a question about the user experience that we have defined. So does the guest receive a warm welcome from the on-site staff? Yes or no, right? And then it will be much easier to scale and to say that from 100 guests, how many guests are feeling the warm welcome from the on-site staff? Is it 100% or 50%? And then we will know how our adoption goes. And each experience is categorized in a level, explained using the Plateau fulfillment image here. So basically, this is coming from customer needs, customer hierarchy of needs, basically. So there's a basic needs, there's a desire, and there's also unrecognized needs. We have talked a lot about this, but basically like this, needs expectation, basically all the basic service expected by majority of users. And if we, there are some people that have higher expectation, they want to ask more from our service. If we can deliver that, it meets their desires. They will think that our service is good, even though it's not advertised. And there's the third level, which is amazing. Most users never expect this. But if we can give them this, something that really make them feel special, then it's called unrecognized needs. They never think that they need it, but after they receive it, they feel great. And the number of experience here represent the effort that we have to give, basically. And to give the unrecognized need, we don't need a lot. We just need one that really special for them. And this is also the graph of how we are going to design the service, moment, and experience. So basically, one service have multiple moments, like this restaurant. There's a moment of parking, there's order, waiting for food, and how we want the user to experience for each of that moment. Is it easy? Is it difficult? Is it organized? Or how we handle things like this, for example, waiting for food. It's okay to slow as long as the user is involved. It will be slow, for example, and that will be okay. So that is the new thing from our innovation. And we should see this soon in the guest spot thing. Back to Rhea.
Okay, now let's move on to the company team target and achievement. For this, Mr. Vivi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Happy Chinese New Year. Good morning to everyone, and with me again. We closed off January with a monthly theme of consistency and standards. And there is one extra point that we discovered this week. I think this relates a lot with what Mr. Jane mentioned just now during the vision statement, which is to map the services to different level of transformation to evaluate tools and adoption more precisely. Currently, we are using the marketing framework, and we kind of know in general which part of which chapter is involved in which is involved in which SLA and with what should be improved. But the tool itself is not precisely known. So by mapping the services, we're able to pinpoint the pinpoints in more and more accurately. And pertaining to this semester target of 1,800 guest checkouts, up until today is the last month of this semester, February, and currently we're at 1,562 overall target checkouts. The classification itself will have to be revised still. The product development team and also the transformation team is working on completing the breakdown of the data itself. Let's go down a little bit. Reviewing the revenue target of 61,000 on January 2022, we actually took a little bit on the end of the month of January. We're at 99.12% at 960,500
Evolution
USD.
and inspired delight November.
As a review of the projection, the model predicted a revenue of um, around 59,000 with a
Ya Allah, diginiin top bunda
7.53%
ya tuh.
percentage error.
Tapi dia aneh banget.
And the actual percentage
Terbaik,
error is 2.5% from the predicted data. So there are various, the arrow in the graph shows a point where we actually slip off, which is at the last week of January. At that point where the blue line actually crosses the red line, where we were already in track for January for most of the month. At the last week, there's a slip up in the occupancy and also revenue in that case. And I believe that
Berarti kurang 1.000 ini.
the issue
kurang 600.
is actually most of the issue is on the adoption side, and that is why we need a stricter adoption policy. In that case, I believe there will be some structural changes within the leaders to enforce this adoption issue. And for revenue projection for February 2022, we have the model. The model predicts at 43,000 with percentage error at 16.46% with a variance of 9,800. As reference, the previous year, February 2021, our revenue was 32,476. Meaning, if we take a revenue target of 53,000, which is the high variance of the predicted value, we are targeting at a 63% year-on-year growth. This number will be discussed again within the leaders and will be re-announced. But that is the general revenue target for February 2022, which is 53,000. So that's the target for this month. And for the monthly theme itself, we will extend the monthly theme from January because we discovered a lot of things that has adoption issue in January, and this can be extended because we have a lot of different services. We haven't mapped the services to each of the transformation stage and to the maintenance tools and so on and so forth, and we'll have to continue this for February 2022. Okay, that's that. And for this week update, it's a new month where there are a lot of different things that we will keep on doing from January, especially on consistency and the adoption. And that's it for me. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vivi, for the updates on the overall target checkout and the revenue projection. Now let's move on to the promotion and new employees. As for this, may I call on HR if there is update on this?
I don't think so. Any promotion conducted for now, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now we can move on to the squad name achievements. So for the first is for the partnership funnel squad. May I call on Halis for this.
Thank you very much, Tia. Good morning, everyone. So this is from the partner squad. Actually, the discovery last week or the primary achievement, it is about the problem where we encounter some problems, some offboarding. It's because of transactional, in alignment in transactionally. So things that we done prioritize is the pricing strategy for 6 months. That is already completed, and we also find some root cause why some pricing is error. So I think this is the beginning of how we can transactionally align with actually.
Okay, thank you. For the guest panel, may I call on Mr. Vivi for this?
Okay, thank you very much. As a primary achievement, transformation chapter in the guest squad has repeatedly achieved the SLA in the cancellation rate at guest extent and short term. Currently proposing to increase the bar for SLA service standards also taken, the service done and inspected through guest internal notes. And secondary achievement is awareness chapter in the guest spot as well. Achieve conversion from listing views to instant book of 0.05% above the which is above the SLA.
Okay, thank you. So for the next is employee funnel squad from Kaara.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. Yeah, primary achievement is that we inserted transformation framework very neatly to each chapter, especially on the funnel. So this will help us to map our broken flows on each stages of the framework in each chapters. I think all other funnel guests and partners can also seriously adopt this tool in their funnel so that we'll have clearer ideas on what to inspect in the future. And then second achievement, held a collaboration with GDSC MUM to conduct a webinar with Nadia and Chris as a speaker. So yeah, that's that.
Aku belum bikin core value recognition. Nanti
Okay,
P2P dapat itu
overall,
lagi pasti.
congrats with the achievements we had. So now let's go on with the next part with the core value recognition. So I'll be the first one. I would like to recognize Kabela for the core value of help others to help themselves because she guided me as I start to handle the operational work in finance last week. So for the next, let's call on Katandi.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I would like to recognize PD and then Lilis to help for creating the system for the repeater SLA. So this is very helpful. So now we know how much gas actually will what's called our repeater to stay with us again. Thank you.
Apanya menurut? Ini toolnya makanya.
Okay, for the next is Mr. Bayo.
Oh yeah, I'd like to recognize Gani for the details matter and help others to help themselves. I think this is really good. Back in our squad meeting 2 weeks ago about guideline ownership, he has been able to translate that our squad discussion and bring it to the chapter to give ownership to each sub guidelines for each of his team member. This is I think leadership move to be able to distribute his responsibility to all of his team member, and the result is really good actually. Everyone is working on some small part, but it turned out really good. So this is the link to that, and kudos to Gani for that.
Alright, I guess just the two remaining are already mentioned last week, so we'll be moving now with the personal updates. So for the personal updates, we will be reading about the question of the week, which is to, wait, I can't really see it. What is your failure story that ends up giving you a valuable lesson? Let's start with Mr. Jim.
Okay, for me, it's the classic Halloween party back in 2012. I'll never forget putting together like a massive event, but not selling tickets beforehand. So what that told me is always build a product or service after you're sure people would want to actually buy it. So that's my.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go on Kagan for this.
Okay, thank you, Rhea. For me, when I was young, I often cheated by strangers. Now, when I grow up, I can see the difference who is good people and bad people. Yeah, it sounds stupid.
Okay, wonderful. Now let's go on Kak Will.
Oh yeah, thank you, Rhea. For me, my failure in subscription years ago gave me a valuable lesson that turns out my place is in photography area.
Okay, thank you. Next is from Febby, but I think she's not around, so I'll be reading. Failed to get into reputable universities like my parents ever wanted, but now I know that if you are gold, you always be gold no matter where you are. So next is Kak Bila.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I joined a lot of debate competition and I lost a lot. And I used to be very upset that I didn't win. But after some pep talk with my coach, I realized that it wasn't only about winning. The process matters so much. I'm so sorry. It helped me improve my knowledge and helped me grow as a person. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Next is from Cindy. Okay. It says here, my words made me fail relation made me fail to maintain relationship with some friends. Now I realize that just because I got the emotional range of a teaspoon doesn't mean everyone have. So that's from Hermione Granger. Next is from, let's go on Kat Nadine. Nadia.
Okay, hi, good morning everyone. So my biggest failure, I think I failed to get into UI after senior high school, and I was so scared to live in Yogyakarta alone. But then UGM turns out taught me many things, and I learned a lot in Yogyakarta, and learned to live independently, and it opened my eyes to many opportunities such as getting Bukit Vista. And yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go on Mokwayan.
Okay, good morning everyone. I think I have wrote the same thing with James. So Halloween event was felt, give us a huge lesson. Be careful what you plan for other people, even though we plan for people to have fun. But if you don't reach the right audience and believe the event gonna be fun, nothing gonna work.
Still
Thank you.
within top 3.
So now,
Can't relate.
for Miss Gray, but I think she's not around. I'll be reading. I used to be such a people pleaser when I was little, but growing up, I realized how unhealthy is it, and now just stick by with my own values and boundaries. Next is Mr. Dimas.
Yeah, thank you, Rhea, for the chance. So I used to say yes all the time whenever people ask me to do them a favor, but now I realize I have my own limit and capacity on doing those things. Thank you, Rhea.
Okay, next is Kak Irma.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rhea. And this all of the week is from my friend, me and my friend in conversation, and I'm appreciate each other things such as like it will be make their day more better. Appreciate things such like the just like statement or the creation like this. Thank you, Victoria.
Okay, next is Kak Ara.
Okay, my side is that putting your guards down for people doesn't necessarily mean you're weak. So yeah, that's such.
Okay,
Ini yang
next
dibaca apa
is
sih?
Kak Tendi.
Question of the week kan? Bukan biggest personal goal.
Okay. Yeah. So for the try to help everyone, and of course I want to learn more. But in the end, make me overwhelmed because it's close the time for the deadline, and then I learn more about the prioritization, time management, also delegation to make my work more effective. Thank you.
Okay, for Mr. Rafiq, he said here that please love your wait. Please love and be there with your family. When your family needs you, okay. So next is Kaasa.
Okay, from my side, taking care of anything but forgot to take care of my own self. And since then, I always try to remind myself to be kind to myself, like to have more rest and also exercise more and extra. Back to you, Lea.
Next is Kamutya.
Felt to be someone who always tough, but again, I'm a regular.
Next is Mr. Gibran.
Thank you. So mine would be to take a break, but not for too long because I lose track of time pretty easily, and that's not a good way to go about work. Thank you, Rhea.
Okay, for the next is from Ka Audrey. She said here, failed on leading people back then, but then I realized that everyone was not on the same page and I should take better care of myself. So for the next, we call on Mr. Bayu.
I failed so many studies in school, like math and science. Later, I learned that I failed because I don't understand the benefit of learning those things. So once I know what I can do with that knowledge, I find it much easier to learn now.
Okay, thank you. Now, Ka Nadia.
Okay, thank you. So actually, my childhood dream was to become pilot or aeronautical engineer, but I failed those, and my current profession has opens up many opportunities for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let's go on Ka Lilis.
All right. Thank you, Ria. So from my side, actually, I rejected an offer of a job in Bali back then, and continued my contract in ITV, and it ends up with joining Bukit Vista and many other opportunities actually coming. Thank you.
Okay, next is Mr. Baby.
Yeah, for me, I can't remember any specific, but definitely I failed a lot in the past, whether it's within control or outside of control. But each iteration helped me to sharpen my skill in looking at available resource to solve, just adapt and overcome, basically.
Okay, now let's go on to Mr. David.
Okay, thank you, Ria. Good morning, everyone. One of my failure is when I failed to enter a state high school or public high school, and but it didn't make me give up and study even better, and finally I success in the school and graduate with good grades. Back to you, Ria.
Okay, for Kabela, she said here, bought expensive goods that I never use. Measure the benefit before you buy it. Next is for Kabayo. I was not allowed to join an organization by my lecturer, made me upset at the time. But as the time passed, I was able to use my time to join various much more valuable activities from this experience. I learned that sometimes rejection in life is redirection. As for my side, back when I was second year, I failed one of my major comprehensive exam where I couldn't understand why God let that happen. Yet now God made me see that if that circumstance did not happen, maybe I wouldn't be where I am now because that failure leads me to trust God's best will for me. So for the next is from Mr. Bayu. He said here, I had a chance to lead an organization early in my junior high. Up until now, that point, I'm really confident on my leadership skills. Well, spoilers, it didn't end well. This experience really hit me and gave me a valuable lesson and an urgency to improve. So next is let's go on Mr. Irfan.
Okay, thank you, Ria. So I failed to get into chemical engineering major, even I really considered my achievement in chemical field as one and all my achievements. I also thought that now I really enjoy from engineering and opportunities and experience I get. Thank you, Victoria.
Okay, the next is from Anisa. She said here that I have planned on being engineering student, but I got accepted in math major instead. Apparently, as time went by, being a math student made me realize that I have overcome so many valuable experiences that made myself grow even better. Not only that, I also met my besties and my loved one here. For the last one is from Jessica. For my trial program presentation, I initially had some ideas that I was quite optimistic about on day three. But it turns out that the time frame was too short and it was very unlikely to see results on day six. Unfortunately, I had to cancel those ideas and I have learned to carefully evaluate and create better plans that are more realistic to execute. So I guess this ends up our personal update. As for the announcement, I think there is. Um, let's go on Mr. Dean for this.
Okay, so everybody, there's a leadership announcement. So Ara will be now taking on the role of an interim chief operating officer, and Vidi will become our new chief data scientist. And this is in response to a few of the pending challenges that we're experiencing across the company, mostly around the adoption area. I want to congratulate Vidi for valiantly leading us in the past 6 months. But I think there's challenges that Vidi is facing also as well in the team management aspect. We're hoping that Ara can bring some of her experience, which she's had previously in some other companies, and also her like magical skills, right, around understanding how people work and getting those applied to improving our adoption. At this point, in alignment with the vision and such that we have set forth for 2022, we just can't wait anymore for things to change. We need to actually take charge. We need to lead our teams in a strong direction. And please support both of our leaders, both Vidi and Ara, in their respective roles. Ara will be leading the employee funnel still in the ensuing period, and Vidi will focus more on business solutions that have been given a data viewpoint. Okay, that's it. Let me bring Ara forward to speak on her vision and some of the new ideas that she will be bringing to this role.
Yes, thank you, sir. First, I'd like to say thank you to you, to Fiji also that always guide me for reaching to this position. And then in the near future, also I'm still going to work together with Fiji. And then in the next few weeks, I think I'm still going to. I'm not gonna like directly going to make entirely different changes because I'd like to understand better first on the current flows, and then from there we're going to start to strategize. Basically, to everyone. The priority stations right now is still the same. So guest funnel is going to be the top priorities to be managed. And then of course manages every funnel will be managed too well. It just for the visions in the near future, we need to have a lot of improvements in guests and then partnerships and employees. So that part I will still also going to work together with PD in terms of delegations and everything in the flows and also the best practices that we have created in the past. So yeah, I think that's for now. And then in the future also I'm going to need more talks, discussions with us by also to how to see it, business problems and also to make it more strategized with both value and things. So yeah, that's from my side, sir.
Okay, and let's give Vidi some floor space to talk about his thoughts.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. So it's been exactly a year, 2 semesters since I was appointed SEO, and thank you very much everyone for the help. I think we transformed a lot in terms of tools, and this time, as Mr. Jim mentioned as well, there is a need to transform as well the adoption method, and this is where Ara has her magic to transform everyone in terms of adoption, and everything is aligned, and I will do my best in my capacity to assist in all the leadership aspects and also everything basically. Okay, thank you very much everyone, and let's keep on plugging.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's pass it back over to the moderator, to Rhea.
So, okay, congratulations to Vicky and Ara. So now I'll be passing it to the host to close our session.
Okay, thank you everyone. We finished right almost on time, yeah. So that's really good achievement, and I hope this all hands brings a lot of inspiration and motivation for everyone to start this week. As we heard what Jing said before, that all hands is a tool basically for you to give you an inspiration on what are other people working on right now, and what are their achievements, what are their failures, and how you can learn from each other. So if you have time, please read again on this all hands, and you will find some goals actually there that you can learn from someone else. And this means also that you can reach out to other people, to contact them, to do a collaboration with people from different chapters and different squads. And so, yeah, this is like the social gathering of the entire people in the company. So please use it. And that's it, everyone. I hope you have a good week ahead. And see you.
Yeah.
And happy Chinese New
All
Year.
right.
Happy Chinese New
Thank you
Year.
for your great celebrate. Have a
Happy
great
Chinese
week,
New Year,
guys.
guys.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Recordingnya nggak stop.
How do we stop the recording?